Another thing I want to actually say as well was this, because obviously I can say some esports angles on this, but I agree with you, by the way, that it's a lot of fun when you actually do the work. Because what I found out as an analyst is, because I am just doing the historian angle or I'm entertaining people, I can just stick watching the top 10 teams if I want. I don't ever have to give a fuck what big clan does. I'll pick against them. If they ever win every now and then, I'll just go well done Tabson and fucking Sirius or something. I don't have to really know what they're good at. But what I actually found was the fun of trying to figure these angles out is it also helps you know more about the game. Like you get a sense of like, so it's more like if they start a game badly, they don't close out. And they on this map, that was the swing map, and maybe they shouldn't have vetoed it. It makes you even more knowledgeable. And so the last thing I want to ask was this. The other thing I learned about when not to bet is there are teams that I don't care what the odds are. I cannot trust these motherfuckers. So I'll give you a few, just for entertainment's purpose. I'll tell you a few in CSGO.
Can I guess first one?
Go on.
Furia?
I would never bet on them at the moment, but they're certainly one I avoid because, again, you can't know, like, is Curserato going to go mental? Are they going to be crap? There's one right there. I'll tell you a couple of others, classics. I almost never bet on Cloud9 to win. To win. See, keyword there. Every now and then I might do an underdog bet if they had really crazy odds. To win, though, like... That's probably the team, if people don't know, where the behind the scenes on that team is. In scrims, they are gods. They just beat everyone. But you see in these tournaments, they're amazing right until the moment they aren't. And the moment they aren't, it can go way downhill. And so they're another team. I don't trust them, mate, if they're in the big match. It's why in Pro League, for example, I thought Cloud9 was going to beat Liquid, but the odds, I had to go. Liquid is like 2.7 or something, mate. I take that all day long. I could take that. You know what I mean? Another classic one for me is fucking Outsiders. Outsiders will beat teams they never should, but they could lose to anyone after that. Like, you can't know because that style's so mental, innit? So I'm just giving examples here because fans will immediately know as a fan, oh yeah, they do have a really weird style, or yeah, they do this up and down. Like, that's what I've learned. I don't have to bet on Cloud9 because there's always going to be more bets. That's what's brilliant. We're not even in a sport where there's not many games. There's going to be a tournament next week. There's going to be a tournament in 2 weeks. Why don't I just wait until I don't have to bet on Cloud9? I can bet on like FaZe Clan to beat like some fucking average team with 1.5. I'll take that all day long. Like if that's in like playoff, you add in the information to the playoff match. That team's not a playoff team before that's been on like everything's making that FaZe Clan bet more and more juicy. Why do I need to bet on this Cloud9 one when I can't trust them?
Exactly. I mean, there is also a thing with best of ones. You should always avoid that type of bullshit, at least for the favorites. Like, if you want to go for some underdog betting, best of one, I think it should be somewhere of a value. We see one win beating G2, a lot of these like crazy results during the last, 10 majors, I guess, and it's like always the best of one. There is always an upset happening and shit like that. So maybe there is a value there. But yeah, I do agree when it comes to outsiders completely. Like, there's teams that you should just avoid, like, completely. Like, there is no value in risking even one unit for a team like that that's gonna fail, that can fail you on any day. Like, no matter against who, even if they're playing against FaZe, if they're playing against some Mickey Mouse team, right? They're still gonna, can fail you. So why not just avoid them? Because like you said, the tomorrow is a new day. You're gonna have another bet, right? And then when it comes to Cloud9, I would maybe, consider them, but because at the end of the day, when they lose them, it's gonna be only one unit that I lost, right? But if I made like beat them maybe 2 units, 3 units up to that point, then I'm fine, right?
Okay.
If they fail me,
you weigh it up like that, right? Okay.
Yeah, so it's fine if they do something like that. But if they fail in the quarterfinals or semifinals against Liquid like they did on a very good odd, and that was like what I don't remember what was the.
I think it was like 1.4 or 5 or something. Yeah.
That's for example ridiculous. It was 1.4 for Cloud9 against Liquid in the semifinals. I would never take that. In a million years.
It's because they'd just beaten FaZe. Everyone was betting them down like, oh, Cloud9's going to win. Yeah, exactly. It was fans doing that.
I would think that the best odd in that situation would be Liquid taking a map. I think that would be a good odd. That would be good value for Liquid to take a map in that same. Obviously, they won. We saw that. But in that specific moment, they beat them. They beat them before. They're playing well right now. Cloud9 is always like something that you cannot really count on. So instead of us going a full-on Liquid, maybe you just go for Liquid winning one map, which happened, obviously. And I don't know what the odds were, but I'm certain they were like less than 150, 155 or something like that, right? So that is the value there. But, other things, I don't know. It's like depends on the team. Like you said,
I've got one to ask you about. So another one I tend to avoid, but I was just doing it like a new purely based off the number of the say a team like, funny enough, they did fail the Pro League, but coming into this Pro League, because it's Na'Vi, dude, you could never get Na'Vi any money. They were like 1.1, some 1.2 odds. It's like in that scenario, I tried to explain to fans, think how many times in a row we have to always win with Na'Vi to even make back what we lose if they fuck us one time. If they and by the way, this was the best example ever because they fucked everyone who bet on them in that group. You would have been bodied. I know it feels guaranteed, but that's only in terms of winning the game. The odds, like I keep saying, the Manchester City example's the one in the Premier League. Like they almost never lose, guys. They might draw, but they almost never lose. But at the same time, you're betting on a win. In that scenario, you're betting to win. So what do you do in that scenario? I'm guessing you avoid a lot of the super heavy favourites, right?
No, never go with the odds that's like 115, 117, 120. That makes no sense. Financially, if you put like, you need to put, 3 units to get like maybe one back-ish, less than one, if my math is right. So it's like, it makes no sense to risk all that money for that little reward, especially because, like you said, they need to win the game. They're not starting the game by leading 10-0. It's 0-0, right? And it's 5v5 on the fucking server, right? So they still need to win that game. So why would I risk that money? If I want to go for something that's going to give me a little bit of value, I would go with the correct score 2-0, right? Which will give you 150, 160 or something like that. That has value. I will put maybe 1 unit on that or 3/4 of a unit there, and just go for the logical thing, which is Na'Vi is a better team, way better team. They should win 2-0, and then that's where you bet on, right? The same goes for Manchester City, for example. If the odds is 122, I bet Manchester City -1, which means like if they win 2-0, I get my money, which is 1.5, 1.6. If they win with 1 goal difference, I get my money back. So it's a push or avoid. I don't know how you call it, but the thing is like -1 is always as a good. If you want to get a little more aggressive, then you go -1.5. Which is also a good bet, a little higher odds, but they need to win with 2 goal difference, which is a logical thing to happen because Manchester City is super strong. They always win, and if they draw, it doesn't really fucking matter, if they're gonna win or not. So you have to catch the value. Where is the value in the bet? It's same thing. Same thing. It's when it comes to goals, like goals market. If you want to go both teams to score in a game, or you're going to go over 2.5, you see for example, teams like Manchester City as well, like Bayern Munich, teams like that. They have super low odds, but you want to go with like something like over 1.25 goals in the first half. That means that, if they score 1 goal in the first half, then you lose half of your stake. If they score 2 goals, then you win. And if they score no goals, then you lose. So that's always a value bet that is like a decent odds there. Same things for Manchester United. Or a bet that, teams like, for example, Manchester City and Bayern Munich, they like to finish the job in the first 30 minutes. Like there's a Champions League game yesterday and the week before that Bayern Munich beat Victoria Pilsen in the first 30 minutes. It was like 4-0, 3-0, something like that. So that's a great value for you if you played like over 1.5 goals in the first half, right? It was an odd or 1.85 or something like that. So and you look for those teams that are like always looking to finish the job quickly, similar to, let's say, Na'Vi. They don't want to struggle against weaker teams. They're just going to go for their best map, win 2-0, go home, get ready for the next match, and the odd can be all right, like 1.6, 1.5, which is a decent odd for a team like Na'Vi playing against, whoever.
It's really
right?
good, yeah.
So
it's the only way, and the key thing to understand there if you're a fan is that's the only way you're going to get value out of a Na'Vi bet. If they really are, like when they have, when they're in real Na'Vi form, not Pro League, when they have like 3 of the top 15 players, Simple's number 1, Electronics number 5, like that's where exactly, like that's how you're going to get that team at like 1.67 odds. You're not going to get it heads up against the 10th best team in the world. Like it's going to get bet down to 1.1, 1.2. Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.